Are you so pissed with your current employer to the point that you really want to slam that door, walk away, and start your own cleaning business? Perhaps you split up with your second half just to figure out that the second half wasn't better second half, and now you need additional source of income. Or perhaps you're extremely ambitious out of school and want to start something that's yours, and you can build your legacy. And your research showed that starting a cleaning business is a great idea. And yes, in many cases it is. However, there are reasons, and 10 of them, not just one. And if you don't hit those buckets, then your likelihood of failing should you start that cleaning company are higher. Let me take you through those steps. Number one would be the mental stamina. If you do not have a mental stamina to stand against the odds, and trust me, the odds will be there and there'll be plenty of them. There'll be times then you're gonna wanna give up. Let me tell you a brief story. The year probably 2010, I was in the basement of my Baltimore City townhouse that I was renting other rooms. And it got cloudy, it was cold, and it was gloomy. The whole neighborhood was sleeping. The time was probably 2 a.m. And I remember being the only person awake in somewhat damp basement, smelling this dampness from the carpet that was coming out, staring at my depleting bank account. And I locked my eyes as if my own fear locked the eyes with me, just to see how the bank account was draining. This was one of 3 at least vivid situations that I can remember. So if you do not have a mental stamina to stand against the odds, to get back up, to get yourself undusted and walk your way, continue pushing through, then this business is not for you. And unfortunately, I can pretty much guarantee you will run into situations like this. Number 2 would be a go-getter mentality. If you do not have a go-getter mentality and you're more like an introvert like me and unwilling to do what it takes to go get jobs, go get staff, people to do those jobs once you sell them, go get the suppliers and go and make literally shit happen, then unfortunately, my friend, this business might not be the right one for you. The next would be number 3, the ability to learn and take criticism. And pay attention, I'm not saying to take constructive criticism, because sometimes you will be dumped with so much shit and crap, then yes, of course, your ego is going to be so hurt that it's great for you to take an action and reprimand the person who you got this crap from. But at times you will just need to be able to swallow this, flush it out, not to keep it inside because then it's going to rot and explode. Flush it out and continue your path, because you can't be charging forward if you're constantly looking back and living with the past. People skills would be number 4. And in people skills, I would also like to add a little bit of leadership in there, and that's something that you can develop. The good news with all the skills that I'm mentioning, those all can be developed, and we are not born with those skills. They're acquirable. There are mentors, coaches, programs, and books you can read that'll help you to improve and excel in those skills. So people skills means you should be able to sell yourself, which means your company, to your customers, to your suppliers, to your employers, staff, subcontractors, freelancers, you name it. And whenever you do that, each person has with factor, right? What's in it for me? And you should be able to figure it out. If it's a customer, consider telling them what you will do and how will the actions that you do will elevate the pain they have, because that's when people pay. People pay to have the pain and problems go away. If those are the staff and employees that you're encouraging, then find out what they're looking for and structure deals so you can give them a path to get where they want. And it could be money, it could be position, it could be freedom, it could be anything, it could be name, legacy, and etc. Same with your partners, especially when you're negotiating with your suppliers in the beginning. They don't know the volume that you can bring in. So paint the picture for them. Tell them what you can do and how effective it will be. The fact that you will do, that your sales will grow. Rule of thumb, the larger volume, sale volume you can bring to someone, the larger discount you can negotiate with them, and that discount that you just negotiated goes right into your pocket. So In the beginning, when you're starting out, suppliers will be resilient to give you a discount. They would want to sell you at the current MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail price, and that's when you should be able to paint the picture for them. The number 5 would be the ability to take calculated risks. And if you're not a risk taker, then let me just save you a lot of headache, money, energy, and perhaps you should just not start just yet until you feel that. But it also goes in conjunction with a mental stamina. If you have the strengths to overcome it, then you already know that regardless what it is, you will overcome it. So ability to take calculated risks, and many will fall and few will succeed. The next will be time management, and that is so crucial to your business's success, because if you're unable to manage your time, then there's a big difference. You should be able to differentiate what's important from what's urgent. Many things will be urgent, and urgent is great. Yes, I mean, you get the crap done, but you need to focus on important, what's gonna get you where you want to go eventually. Urgent will put out the fires, and whenever anything that you can delegate to other people to address the urgent so you can stay focused on a bigger picture, that's something that you want to do. In the beginning, I understand there's no help and it's pretty much you yourself running everything, the whole show. You're the cleaner, you're the sales, marketing, accounting, collections, and you probably have hundreds of hats, and that is okay. That is how we all start. There are rules that you can incorporate for yourself, for your own life, that will help you to be better with your time management skills. For example, a 2-minute rule that I love: any task that takes less than 2 minutes, then go ahead and do it. Do not procrastinate. Another rule is a Pomodoro rule, that is sectioning off, blocking off the time so you work in those increments and you a task specific. Because if you get off, just to get back to a task takes you minutes and minutes to get back to it, and then you already lost all the attention span on it. 4-hour workday could be another strategy that you can look into, but there's plenty of them. Research and you'll find something, implement, test. If it doesn't work, just go ahead and try another one. Discipline would be the number 7 in this list, and discipline is so crucial. The ability to wake up and continuously push through the hard times is amazing ability, especially when you work from your home. Like, this is what I was doing. I was working from my home, although in the morning, granted, I wasn't the morning guy in the beginning. I would wake up a little late, although after waking up and having breakfast, that was a part of my rituals all the time. Then I would brush my teeth, change my t-shirt to like a collared sleeved shirt, and it would go to the basement, because just the change, you can't go in your flip-flops and pajamas to the basement, because then your mind is not separating the office versus personal home. So to be able to cut through, separate them, and continuously push through the work days, especially when you're working from your home, are important and super important actually. The next would be the cash flow management, and that would be the number 8. Cash flow management is really crucial in America, especially because the credit system is so advanced in this country. You can literally have what you want now and pay for it later, which is addictive and which is really bad for you. And let me explain. If you just start buying stuff in an anticipated profit which you don't have now, and then not meeting your financial obligations, then it hurts your credit, then it hurts your purchasing power, then it hurts your future credit availability when you actually have a real thing going on. So cash management is an extremely important skill, and hold the ability to hold what you want now versus to what you want later is a big skill. For example, if you just get something that you want now just because you can get it, but you are not running your cash properly, then eventually what you're doing is you're borrowing from your future self. So for the good that you just purchased, somebody pays, right? Either you pay yourself or your future self pays. So which one would you prefer? Would you rather prefer to have this guy who's now older to pay for what this guy used, and by the time this guy pays off, what this guy purchased is probably going to be completely obsolete and worn off and not worth it? Or have this guy hold off the desire for just a tad longer not all the way until here, collect the cash needed, and then purchase and utilize that item. So cash management is something super important, also when you're now talking about other people's lives, where you have to meet your financial obligations, when you now have employees, subcontractors, vendors who rely upon the payments from you that are coming in, because then they pay their mortgages, then they pay their rents, then they take their kids to school, to buy their lunches and fill up their gas tank. So you cannot rob, neither I personally would not rob myself, future, or the other people who help me to run the business. So therefore, be mindful how you spend your money. The fact that you just earned a contract now and it's a recurring doesn't guarantee that this contract will be 12 months from now. So many things may change. So be mindful of how you spend your cash. Adaptability to be the next one. And I'd like to put it as a number 9 in this list. And now we're talking adaptability to competition. There's plenty of competition. So the beauty of the cleaning business, it is low cost to get into it. But that also makes it disadvantaged because it's low cost to get into it. A lot of people actually do get into it. So regardless what phase you are in, starting off, small business, mid-sized business, doesn't matter. There's always a ton of fish competing for the same customer that you're competing for. So you should be able to adapt to the competition, find out what methods they're using, pricing they're using, how they're incentivizing people, and then make it better. And then also to a change per se. And I'll explain, because things change all the time. This is the law. This is the world we now live in. A technology comes in and AI comes in. So you have to be able to adapt and implement it. Let's say if you were paying to a content writer a lot of money, now you have AI that comes in, and then you can start utilizing. Perhaps you can save that, especially when in the beginning, when you're just running your company, then you don't have too much money to spend. So adaptability to technology, adaptability to events that we can't foresee, like nobody can foresee. Think about the latest pandemic, COVID. No one actually was able to foresee it. My dad, over 80 years, I was back in Uzbekistan when this happened, and I told him he went through the USSR collapse, he went through the Soviet Union, he's been in America, he's traveled, so he's seen many things at his 80 some years. And when I asked him, I'm like, Dad, have you ever seen something like this that happened, where they literally lock everyone else into the homes and the world didn't know where it was going? He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't. So be adaptable. Regardless, whatever the life throws at you, you should be able to come up and just be better. Economy and inflation would be another thing that you should be able to adapt. For example, after COVID, we went through extremely high hyperinflation. Like nobody was able to do that, which requires you now as a business owner to go back to your employees to renegotiate, to go back to your customers to renegotiate. So adaptability. And then methods and techniques change all the time because we improve, we become better. Some things become obsolete, some things we now need to be adapting. Number 10 on this list. And after the number 10, I'd like to tell you 4 things, the misconceptions that people think you have to be running a successful business, which are not true. So far, if you're liking this content, like and subscribe, please. And thank you for doing that. I just gave you just a second to do that. Trust would be the next. And on trust, I would like to talk about that you should be able to trust the process itself, which is a lot. Just to give time, because things won't happen overnight. You will not become a millionaire. You will not be running a million or multi-million dollar cleaning business overnight. So it takes time. And now we're talking 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So whatever the plans you do, make them in 5, 10, 15 years. Don't make them in 6 months or years. 6 months or years could be like achievable goals. So trust in a process, trust in people, which means when you find, hire, and delegate those people, give away the responsibilities, knowing that yes, they can make a mistake, but in general, they will most likely end up positively surprising you, but it will not happen if you're not able to trust. And then least but not last is trust to yourself. And that is important. You have to be able to trust in your own capabilities, in your own ability to push through, in your own ability to make it happen. And contrary to belief, as I said, there are 4 things that should not stop you from doing what you do. starting a cleaning company per se. And that will be number one. You should not be waiting on your partners. You should not be waiting to recruit that person to be your partner. Successful people start, and then along the way other people join. So start. Number two, you do not need a ton of cash. And this is the beauty of this business. You can start small. You can start from residential and slowly get a carpet cleaning machine and start offering upholstery cleaning and carpet cleaning, and then get a pressure washer, start offering power washing and etc. Tapping into commercial, get a truck. So you can grow as you'd like, and you don't need a ton of money. Number three would be being a part of a franchisee. You can figure out a lot of things. Yes, being a part of a franchisee has a lot of benefits. I actually have a video talk which actually talks about the difference, content pros versus being a franchise and or solo starter. Go ahead and watch that video if you haven't after you finish watching this. The franchising has a ton of benefits. It also has some disadvantages, but you can learn. The information now is becoming so available. It's it's who is going to do. Implementation is a different thing, but information is available. So if you're an implementer, you can research, watch the videos, channels like this, and then mentors, coaches, or people that will guide you. So you don't have to wait for them. They are important and they will serve their roles when the time comes, but when you start, you will meet them because you're going to start putting yourself into situations where people like that hang out. But just waiting for them, and because of that, not starting because your partner is busy, because you're not part of franchisee, or because you don't have enough cash, and or because you don't have mentor, because mentor is traveling now, is like postponing your better future. Remember, if you start now and it takes you 10 years to get to where you want, then the path to get to where you want doesn't get shorter if you start tomorrow. The only thing that changes now, it's 10 years pushes back one more day. So go ahead, get started, believe in yourselves, and watch this video because this will help you keep on crushing your careers. Thanks again. Be awesome, and bye-bye.